Earlier today, I opened up my Instagram page and instantly got my face melted by my buddy Spiro doing this insane string skipping pattern. Check it out. The level of control and speed that he has while navigating those string skips is just absolutely bonkers, and I love how the pattern sounds. So as soon as I heard it, I knew it would be a great thing for you and I to practice to try to get anywhere near his skill level. So I slowed the pattern way down, figured it out, and applied it to an A minor scale across the high E string and G string. It's the perfect thing to practice to get your string skipping in shape. Check it out. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. String skipping is a really valuable technique to add into your skill set. You've heard players like Paul Gilbert, Nuno Betancourt, and Francis Bubble Trousers get all kinds of awesome sounds from it. But it can be really hard to know where to get started with it, because diving headfirst into a Paul Gilbert solo is a little bit of an intimidating task. Lucky for you guys, I've come up with this really cool sounding etude in the key of A minor that you can practice to help get your string skipping skills down. First, I'll show you guys how to play it, then we're going to talk about some technique tips to get you up to speed in no time. As always, this video is brought to you guys by everybody who supports my channel over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Sign up today for all kinds of bonus goodies like extra videos, downloadable tabs, and so much more. This week, everybody who supports my channel, even at just that $1 a month level, is going to get access to tabs to go along with this lesson, as well as practice tracks that I made to help you get up to speed. Plus, I'll be uploading a special bonus video to go along with this one, showing you guys one of my absolute favorite metronome hacks to build speed like crazy fast. This is one that a friend of mine showed me years ago, and it's become a really important part of my practicing ever since then. So don't delay, sign up today, even for just $1 a month. You're going to get access to that bonus video and a whole lot more good stuff. Gear-wise, for today's video, I'm playing my Jackson SL3 soloist here into the Fractal Audio Axe FX 3. Now let's hear that sick etude again at stepdad speed. Start off here on the high E string on the C note, and you're going to play C, B, and A. Then reach up with your little finger here to the G string fret 9 for that E note, and play down those three notes like this. E, D, and C. Walk back up the G, grab the lowest note of the position on the high E string, the A note, back down the G string, back up the G string. Okay, so we walk down, back up, single note, back down, back up. At this point, you got two notes left in that measure, and we're going to use those to get into the next position. So using your first finger, jump up here to the B note on the high E string and play the C note. Really important to notice that position shift we snuck in right there. Right there. Now what we're going to do is to play the same idea from this position. So start off here on the D note, play down D, C, and B, and then go to the G string, and we're going to play down F, E, and D. Same idea. We're going to walk down, back up, single note on the high E, back down, back up. And then position shift. So we're going to play up C and D for our last two notes in that section. Now that we're here, we're going to play down E, D, and C, then down G, F, and E on the G string for this segment. Same phrasing. Position shift to D and E, okay? After this, same idea, starting here from the F note. So we're going to be playing down F, E, and D. Position shift happens on E and F. After this, we're going to play down this segment here, G, F, and E. Going to be having B, A, and G on the G string. Position shift on F to G at the end of that segment. That leads us up here to A, G, and F, C, B, and A on the G string. Position shift on G and A. And then we're up here on B, A, and G. Shift on A and B. And then that leads you to the final position, which is the first position, but just up an octave. So C, B, and A. And then just to end cleanly, I ended on A, B, A at the end of that segment. So we started off down here in the A position. To B. C. D. E. F. G. And A again. Now that you have the etude down, let's talk about some of the technical stuff that you can use to make this work more better under your hand fingers. Okay, if there's one thing that I see that holds a lot of guitar players' string skipping skills back, it is the seemingly well-intended use of teeny tiny pick strokes. I think a lot of us get super obsessed with trying to make the smallest, most microscopic pick stroke in the name of efficiency and speed, but the problem is, if your pick stroke is like this small, and you need to go to the G string next, you're nowhere near the G, right? You've then got to make this secondary movement with the hand to get you above the G string to do that downstroke. So here's the thing with this stuff. You got to think about what I call launchers, okay? Launchers. What that is it's a pick stroke that serves two functions. It strikes a note, and it also acts like an elevator to get you to the next string that you need to go to. Because again, if I'm like thinking about this as like a set of floors in a building, first floor, second floor, and so on. If I'm trying to get off the first floor and go to the third floor, and the elevator does this, I'm like stuck barely getting over the first floor. I'm nowhere near the third. But if I launch like this, and simply make a bigger motion, my pick stroke has served two purposes. It sounded that note, and it got me where I need to go to next. Now, while you're sitting on a single string playing notes over and over like that, or like if you're tremolo picking or something, yeah, teeny tiny pick strokes are great. It's the most efficient thing in the world. But if you're trying to move rapidly between strings, it's only going to hold you back and make you create weird secondary movements and kind of make you feel like your hand is kind of hopping to get over the strings. And that's just going to slow you down. So kind of watch down the barrel right here, and you're going to see what I'm talking about. See that last pick stroke? I didn't make them all huge. It wasn't like this. That'd be really inefficient. But for that last note, I'm deliberately launching that pick stroke out and away from the strings so I can crash down on the G where I want to go to next. A great way to kind of practice this is just to play those first three notes. And what I want you to do is after you play that last note, the A note, take a look. Take a look at your pick and see where it is. Just freeze frame, freeze, right? My pick right now is right above the G, where I want it to be. But if I froze and it looks like this, nowhere near the G string, that means I did not launch that pick stroke out properly. So it's a good thing to practice this way. Play the three notes and then freeze. You can do the same thing here. You know, if I'm going from the G to the high E string, that last one that I'm playing on that string has to be a launcher. It has to propel me towards that next string, like that right there. If I did that freeze frame thing and I went like this, and I noticed the pick was still kind of right there around the G, that's good if I'm playing another note on the G next, but if I'm trying to get to the high E string, that means I'd have to make that secondary movement. It's only going to slow you down. So really focus on launching that last pick stroke out to get to your next string that you need to. Now you might have just noticed that I'm playing this beginning with an upstroke. You could play this with a downstroke starting. Down, up, down, up, down, up. I think that's how Spiro played it in his original example. But I'm not as good of a picker as he is. I need to phrase things in such a way that it's advantageous for my picking hand. Because think of it this way. If I started this with a downstroke, even if I have a great, really efficient downstroke there for that last pick stroke, I'm still on the first floor. I'm nowhere near the third floor that I need to go to next, right? But if I start this on an upstroke, up, down, up, now my pick is propelled right where I need it to be. Watch what happens if I keep going with this upstroke starting sequence. Up, down, launch, down, up, down with a launch. Again, that put me back in the direction of the high E string. In fact, all of the exit strokes that we're going to be playing here will put us going in the direction of the next string as long as we begin with an upstroke. That keeps you on the outside of the strings too, which I'm more of an outside kind of string changer myself. Your mileage may vary. It'll probably benefit me if I practice this starting with a downstroke. But for the sake of this being a string skipping kind of thing, I would recommend starting with the upstroke and working on your launches to get you going in the direction of the string that you need to next. It's really going to help clean up your string skipping technique and give you a lot more control over that pick. Now, one more thing that I want to point out here before I let you guys run is keeping that B string silent. It's really, really, really easy to accidentally make a bunch of noise on that B string, either with the pick or with our fingers coming off of the strings and sounding that guy out or whatever. What I'd recommend is always having some part of your first finger be in contact with that B string. Watch my first finger here. You can see to start with here, I'm not fretting on the tip of the first finger, I'm fretting on the fingerprint. That way the tip of my finger is lightly touching that B string. That's going to cover me in case I hit it on my way to the G string with my left hand or accidentally tag it with my pick here in my right hand. Even if I hit it, you won't hear it. I just whacked the crap out of it. Didn't hear it because I'm muting it here. Now whenever I go to the G string, kind of the same idea. I'm fretting with my finger tip more right here, but you can see under the first finger, there under the fingerprint, I've got the B string trapped under there. Again, if my picking gets a little too frisky over here and I tag that B string, you're not going to hear it. I've always got some part of my skin touching the B string. Watch again that first finger here really closely. Kind of keep that guy from ringing out or getting any nasty sympathetic vibrations or whatever. It's just a little game of damage control. You're likely going to hit it at some point, so just be prepared and hide any noise that it could potentially make. So there you go, guys, a string skipping odyssey inspired by my buddy Spiro over there on Instagram. Again, be sure to give him a follow to see guitar playing that is far more ferocious than mine. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Be sure to grab those practice tracks and guitar profiles as well as the tab over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. And don't forget, you're also going to get access to that bonus metronome hack video, so that's something that you're definitely going to want to pick up. So don't delay, sign up today, click on the link down there in the video description. Also, thank you guys so much for liking this video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, and all that other good stuff. Tell a friend, tell your mom, tell your sister I said hi. All that good stuff. And stay tuned for more cool stuff and hot licks coming at you next time. But as for now, I recommend getting away from the computer, grabbing those practice tracks off the Patreon, and getting to work on your string skipping. Less clicking, more picking.